It's true that the police have exercised a degree of discipline in handling the demonstrators. In this sense, they have conducted themselves rather nonviolently in public. But for what purpose? To preserve the evil system of segregation. Over the past few years, I have constantly preached that nonviolence demands that the means we must use to be as pure as the ends we seek. I have tried to make clear that it is wrong to use immoral means to attain moral ends. But now I must affirm that it is just as wrong, or perhaps even more so, to use moral means to preserve immoral ends. Perhaps Mr. Connor and his policemen have been rather nonviolent in public, as was Chief Pritchett in Albany, Georgia. But they have used the moral means of nonviolence to maintain the immoral end of racial injustice. As T.S. Eliot has said, the last temptation is the greatest treason, to do the right deed for the wrong reason. I wish you had condemned the Negro sit-inners and the demonstrators of Birmingham for their sublime courage, their willingness to suffer, and their amazing discipline in the midst of the great provocation. One day the South will recognize its real heroes. They will be the James Meredith with the noble sense of purpose that enables them to face jeering and hostile mobs, and with the agonizing loneliness that characterized the life of the pioneer. They will be the old oppressed, battered Negro woman symbolized in a 72-year-old woman in Montgomery, Alabama, who rose up with a sense of dignity and with her people decided not to ride segregated buses, and who responded with ungrammatical profanity to one who inquired about her limbs. My feet is tired, but my soul is at rest. They will be the young high school and college students, the young ministers of the gospel and a host of their elders, courageously and nonviolently sitting in at the lunch counters and willingly going to jail for conscience sake. For one day, the South will know that when these disinherited children of God sat down at lunch counters, they were in reality standing up for what is best in the American dream, and for the most sacred values in our Christian heritage, thereby bringing our nation back to those great wells of democracy, which were dug deep by the Founding Fathers in their formulation of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. We chose this part of Section 8 because we thought it was the most important part. This part was wrapping the letter up, whereas the last three paragraphs were just putting a bow on the gift and thanking the clergyman for the time. Our example of ethos is in the sentence in the first paragraph. As T.S. Eliot has said, the last temptation is the greatest treason, to do the right deed for the wrong reason. This is ethos because Eliot's quote makes King credible in the play Murder in the Cathedral, where the characters are facing similar difficult moral choices. An example of pathos is in the second paragraph where King says they will be old, oppressed, battered Negro woman, symbolized in a 72-year-old woman in Montgomery, Alabama, who rose up with a sense of dignity and with her people and decided not to ride segregated buses. This is pathos because this gives the whites a guilty feeling for making an old woman go through so much just because of her skin color. Rosa Parks was 70 years old and she started a boycott where she encouraged people not to ride segregated buses because it was wrong and unfair. Rosa, along with many other blacks, chose to walk dozens of miles a day in the freezing cold weather because they cared about equality more than anything else.
An example of an allusion would be a quote from T.S. Eliot that says, "The last temptation is the greatest treason, to do the right deed for the wrong reasons." This references his play Murder in the Cathedral,